the Blues, but Ipswich as well.
His coaching career, if you like. I mean, he's started at Manchester United, wasn't it, where he worked in the academy and kind of, if you like, earned his stripes and kind of had to work his way up to where he's at now. And I know he's very well respected in the game, you know, amongst players and coaching staff. So, you know, it's no surprise that, you know, when you've got a good manager, that they normally take teams further up the league, and see they find themselves in a real promising position, really, and I imagine they'll have their eyes on promotion, considering how tight it is up there. So, yeah, I mean, you know, he's done a terrific job, but obviously you're going to come up against the Blues side that have won the last 2 games, so who knows what can happen.
Yeah, and obviously 6 points now, a buffer between Blues and those relegation places. There's no easy games in the Championship, but everyone around us with tough fixtures. But coming here, what has been a fortress for Ipswich this season, the Championship, it's going to be a tough test. So it's Ipswich hosting Blues this afternoon. Blues have lost just one of their last 7 games against today's hosts, and we're unlucky back on our home patch to leave with just a point at a time where Ipswich were absolutely flying. Kieran McKenna's side has seen a total of 109 goals scored in their league games this season, so expect there to be plenty of action in Suffolk this afternoon. The Tractor Boys were ploughing the league for the most part, but the past few months have proven they're certainly not invincible, and having been stuck in the mud and struggling to put some form together. So Blues have ravaged the Rovers, caged the Black Cats, and today look to stall the Tractor Boys' hopes of back-to-back automatic promotions in front of a sold-out Blue Nose away and here in Suffolk, as it's Ipswich Town to get us underway at Portman Road, and immediately the Tractor Boys are on the attack. A response needed from them. That'll be the message from Kieran McKenna after events last night at Ellen Road, as immediately they look for that early response into the penalty area, but up comes John Ruddy to claim in his 6-yard box. But all the pressure today, Paints, will be on Ipswich Town in front of an expectant crowd.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, they'll be the favourites for this game. But I think that, you know, when you're in our shoes, coming to somewhere like this, that can kind of play in your favour, where, you know, being the underdog, where no one really expects you to probably get anything from the game, then maybe we could surprise a few.
So Blues making some progress down the left-hand side. Ethan Laird, of course, who's started left-back in the past few games, with Cody Drummond slotting in at right full-back. Such athleticism, such poise, Ethan Laird, and great energy as well around the changing room. I'm sure you've seen in our socials, Ethan Laird's just a beaming ray of sunshine at all hours.
Yeah, he looks a real character, doesn't he? And, you know, the fans have really took to him, haven't they, since he's been at the club. And, you know, not only that, his character, but he's shown that his performances on the pitch, when we've had him available and fit, he can be so effective down either flank, really. So, you know, such a good squad player to have involved.
Yeah, incidentally, for Ipswich Town, here's how they line up. Hladky in goal, Twanzebe, Wolfenden, Burgess and Davis at the back for Stansfield. Just clashes with Cameron Burgess, the left centre-back for Ipswich Town today. Luongo will partner Morsey in the midfield, and then it's just a prolific front four for Ipswich Town. Burns, Chaplin, Broadhead and Keith. And there's Mark Roberts, who retains his side in the back four, this time alongside Dion Sanderson. A big game for the Blues captain today, returning after 4 games out with injury, straight back into the 11. We were speaking before kick-off, Paints, from personal experience yourself, just how tough it is to come straight back into first-team action.
Yeah, it's certainly a challenge.
There's an early strike comes in from Nathan Broadhead, just fizzes wide of Ruddy's left-hand post, affected behind Ipswich the first corner of the game.
Yeah, just going back to Sanderson there, like, you know, it will be a real challenge for him. I mean, he's missed a lot of football through injury, but, you know, sometimes when you're given that opportunity to come straight back in, you'll be running off adrenaline and, you know, desperate to put a real good performance in, especially considering how well the team's been doing up to this point.
So Ipswich Town with the first threatening dead ball situation of the game. It's only half cleared. It's thumped back in, deflected, which takes it wide. Rather unceremoniously, Ipswich Town won a second consecutive corner. They won't get one. Massimo Luongo striking on the edge of the penalty area after Tyler Roberts' half clearance. Came through a plethora of bodies. The last touch you see coming off Nathan Broadhead.
You always worry when the ball does fall to the opposition on the edge of the box there, because, you know, John Ruddy's view there, you just see a mass of bodies in front of him, and, you know, you see it so often it can deflect off in all kinds of directions. But luckily enough there for Blues that managed to, you know, put enough pressure on Luongo to just force his shot wide.
Burgess seeking an avenue down the left-hand side for Ipswich. That's picked up by Drame. Dazelle conspiring with him, trying to rob Broadhead of possession. And the decision goes Blues' way. Of course, implications of this fixture are paramount up and down the championship, with the action at Ellen Road last night. Imperative game for Ipswich Town to respond with, and Stansfield's got the right side of Burgess. Out comes Wolfenden. Roberts goes down in the penalty area. Gavin Ward waves away, appeals, and gives the decision to Ipswich. First big moment of the game goes against Blues. Wolfenden looks towards the linesman, as does Tyler Roberts. Wolfenden, you can see what he's calling for. He thinks the Blues striker has gone down far too easily. Roberts contrasting in his appeals.
Certainly a question to be asked there. I mean, clever from Roberts. As soon as he gets his body in front of Wolfenden, he's in the stronger position, and you're waiting for contact there. If you're Roberts, you wait for any form of contact, and, you know, he's gone down and the linesman's close enough to see it. So maybe the linesman probably had a better view than I had, but, you know, certainly asks a question, doesn't it, early on.
Yeah, and that sees us into the applause on 5 minutes. A really nice touch all around Portman Road. All four corners up in applause in respect of Tony Mowbray, who's obviously taking a time away from the technical area while he undergoes treatment. As Burns comes forward, it's into the penalty area. It's a vital challenge back there by Mark Roberts, and Drame sees the ball to safety. First big opening for Ipswich Town, carved down their right-hand side. Such a dangerous ball fizzed across there, across the Blues 6-yard box, and the Blues back forward seemed to be quite stretched. It's just that ball whipped across there along the floor, and Mark Roberts actually did enough, although he probably didn't get any contact on the ball. Just the action there just takes it away from Kiefer Moore. Just waiting for a tap-in, wasn't he? And yeah, it's first scare of the game for Blues. Kiefer Moore, of course, prolific at this level, 63 goals with Cardiff, Wigan, Barnsley and Rotherham across the EFL. Of course, high profile in the Premier League with Bournemouth, but now at Ipswich Town, and now in on goal, and blazes a big opening over the crossbar. Huge chance for Ipswich Town, huge chance for Kiefer Moore. He's already scored 4 goals in his 5 games with Ipswich Town since joining on loan in January, and a huge opportunity to register his 5th.
Yeah, big chance for Kiefer Moore, and, you know, there you just expect him to kind of strike it across. You know, just doesn't quite strike it cleanly enough there, and you can see Kiefer Moore was disappointed in it.
Well, Mowbray has been wax lyrical about how he wants his side to play out from the back, and that continues under Venus. The Blues have relinquished possession in the dangerous area. Chaplin's snapshot from the penalty spot, easily gathered by John Ruddy, didn't quite have the venom to test the Blues shot stopper.
No, and that comes from us just trying to play out the back, and what you have to remember is you're always going to have an opposition that are set and ready to try and stop you doing that, and Ipswich, to be fair to them, did well there, locking on and ended up regaining the ball in such a dangerous area. And I think that's just the risk and reward of that style of play. Sometimes it's going to work, and, you know, you're going to kind of play through the thirds and get up the pitch smoothly with it. Other times there may be the odd risk that you take and causes yourself a few problems, but I think that's something you just have to accept with that style of play.
Yeah, Connor Chaplin, who was a top scorer in Ipswich's promotion season from League One. He fired in his 100th career goal last Saturday against Swansea, and he's just looking to provide as much ammunition to Kiefer Moore as he can this afternoon. But Blues have started pretty resiliently as Tyler Roberts charges down Luke Wolfenden at the back.
Good there from an out-of-possession point of view. You can see that Tyler Roberts has bumped up with Stansfield as the top two out of possession, and they're just putting Wolfenden under pressure and kind of forcing the error. That's something as a centre-back or defender, when you do get caught on it, it's not a great feeling really, and you know that's something that Blues can quite pleased with just in the first stage out of possession.
Chaplin spins away and finds Burns. He looks to pull it back to the edge of the penalty area. Broadhead looking to make space for an effort. Kiefer Moore looked to tee up Chaplin edge of the 18-yard box. He'll come back out Blues through Twanzebe, linking up with Burns. Laird stops the supply at source, but Wes Burns already looks like a prolific threat down that right-hand side for Ipswich.
Yeah, again, like you have to look at probably the form they've been in, and you know the players that they've got in that top area of the pitch, which they have caused a lot of teams problem this season. So you know that it's going to be a real test for us in a back four today. So you know I think when you've got players like Ethan Laird, that one thing you can rely on with him, he's got real pace. So you know I know Wes Burns has been causing fullbacks all sorts of issues.
Obviously, Kieran McKenna has had Ipswich firing all cylinders this season. The 65 goal tally they've scored this season is the second highest behind Leicester, and the 44 goals they've conceded is the most of the top seven. So as much as they score goals, they are liable to concede them as well, Ipswich Town. And of course, that festive period of rough form has proved that they're certainly not invincible. And Blues have started this pretty resiliently, and Tyler Roberts as well, just looking to continue that trend of good hunting up top. But this is where Ipswich thrive. Broadhead on the counter-attack. Down the left-hand side, Drame stops him in his tracks with a firm challenge.
I think, you know, 13 minutes gone, you kind of wait for Blues now to just try and get a foothold in the game in terms of possession. I mean, it's been Ipswich really that have had most of it. Say that they've just kicked it out of play. I mean, that's perfect timing, isn't it? But you know, we're competing and you know, we're making it fairly difficult for Ipswich to play through us. I know they've had one or two half chances with Kiefer Moore, but you know, like when we do have the ball, can we kind of settle ourselves down and just retain possession when we do have it?
Loose ball into the midfield, picked up by Burns. Sidesteps Sanderson, looks to tee up Kiefer Moore. Moore looks to pull it back towards Chaplin, just couldn't sort his feet out, and James will clear for Blues up towards Stansfield. Burgess beats him in the air, and Ipswich Town can just retain some safe possession. Just moved the ball so well in the final third, Ipswich.
I do, yeah. I mean, they've got some real talented players in that final third, and as I said earlier, that you know we need to be on point defensively to deal with that.
Moore just being felled by Mark Roberts from behind. Getting on with this quickly, spotting the run of Broadhead. Roberts aware and alert to see the ball to safety. Drame looking to link up with Miyoshi. Burgess, who did divert Janino Bakuna's cross into his own net back at St Andrews at Knighthead Park in the reverse fixture this season, before Marcus Harness was the hero off the bench for Ipswich. And there's Miyoshi making tracks down the right-hand side, clip ball to the edge of the 18-yard box, finds James. James will seek out Roberts. Miyoshi looks to get onto the end of this, but too hot for him to handle, and it bounces harmlessly behind for an Ipswich goal kick.
Yeah, see, that's the chance there, really, where you've got Jordan James on the ball. Can you just sustain a bit of pressure on Ipswich in our final third, really, where not having to force it and overhit it. I mean, I think as the game's panned out so far in the first 15 minutes, we haven't had too much of the ball, and you just like to think that with Jordan James's ability there, we could just keep the ball in that area of the pitch for a little bit longer.
Sanderson's free header hoisted back up by Luongo. Moore tees up Broadhead to have a run at the Blues back line. Roberts, the last line of defence, in the way to sweep the ball to safety, but you can just feel Ipswich are growing into the game and getting into their rhythm.
Yeah, they are. As I said earlier, Matt, they're enjoying a lot of the possession, and they're quite patient with it at times, and they're happy just to keep the ball. Now, yeah, the test is going to be how well we can defend that penalty area. I mean,
and Moore looking to make himself a nuisance in that danger area. Got on the end of that carved out cross, deflected over the top. Ipswich will have their second corner of the game.
I think he's found himself, Kiefer Moore, now. That's probably 4 half chances he's had within 17 minutes there, where he's always, seems to be in the right position just to be picked out in those danger areas. You need to make sure you're staying on top of that, because you don't want to be leaving him too much time and space.
He's a real handful already, Kiefer Moore. Oh, what a save that is. Connor Chaplin with a dive-in header. John Ruddy produces the stop, hoisted back into the danger area, and Pake away. Biggest moment of the game, but John Ruddy steps up and produces a magnificent save.
Yeah, great save by Ruddy. That, I mean, not sure why Connor Chaplin has got nobody around him there looking to challenge him for that ball into the box, and probably not the most likely to be winning headers. I mean, he's not the biggest lad on the pitch, Connor Chaplin. But yeah, biggest chance of the game, and strong save by John Ruddy there, even palms it out of danger. Yeah, he's asking a few questions of his teammates now. Look there, it's Connor Chaplin just in between the penalty spot and 6-yard box there, and yeah, I think maybe there's somebody there has come off their set piece responsibility, because you wouldn't imagine Connor Chaplin to have that much time and space.
Well, Kiefer Moore might have been the centre of attention in the penalty area. It was Connor Chaplin who peeled away, produced the free header, but John Ruddy level to it with the save. Leif Davis, the corner taker, almost adding to his division-leading tally of 12 assists. John Ruddy, though, level to the effort.
If you just look back at that replay there, Kiefer Moore actually has no intention of looking to head the ball there. He's just looking to try and take Jordan James and Mark Roberts further into the 6-yard box to create space for Chaplin, that ended up receiving the ball. I think most teams would expect you to try and hit someone like a Kiefer Moore in the box due to his height, but that's well worked, really. I think, as I say, when you watch it back on the replay, you can see that there's a clear plan to try and free up Connor Chaplin there in and around the penalty spot.
Well, the cause for concern for Wes Burns, who just showed signs of struggle a few minutes ago, and Kieran McKenna has taken the decision to make this early change. So on comes Amari Hutchinson, who's not bad of a replacement at all for Wes Burns. So Ipswich forced into the early change. Here comes the Jamaican international. Of course, fired in that stoppage time winner in a dramatic 4-3 win against Rotherham to keep Ipswich Town well and truly in the thick of it on Tuesday night. That his 5th goal of the season for the man on loan from Chelsea, and he replaces Wes Burns. So just a change of personnel for Ipswich, but the threat remains the same down this right-hand side. Dion Sanderson too strong for more. Twanzebe intervenes. Luongo. Hutchinson's first touch is a take on Ethan Laird down this Ipswich right. charges towards the byline, digs out across, dangerous one, Roberts. Vital header with Kiefer Moore breathing down his neck.
Yeah, really important header by Mark Roberts there. You know when that ball stood up to the back post there and you see someone like Kiefer Moore hanging on your shoulder, you could have a bit of a problem, but fair play to Mark Roberts. He got up early, won the header, and actually took a whack for his troubles as well from Kiefer Moore. But yeah, it's such a dangerous ball in that. You know, with the threat Kiefer Moore offers and his height and his aerial ability, it's a tough one to deal with there, but Mark Roberts did terrifically well.
Yeah, he's already proving to be a real handful, Kiefer Moore, for Messrs Roberts and Sanderson at the back. So far, though, they've stood up to the task, but great bit of business in January from Ipswich Town, a team that love getting the ball in the box to bring such a threat to the club in Kiefer Moore. Of course, didn't have the most joy this season at Bournemouth. He's having a new lease of life in the Championship at 31 years of age.
He can just give you a different dimension, can't he? You know, see, we've got the likes of Djukovic. It's a real aerial threat and problem when he's in the box with crosses like that. And see, then you find yourself with a Stansfield that's has clever movement, he's sharp and pacey. So to say, Ipswich there bringing Kiefer Moore in, it's a real good bit of business and an experienced player to go with that too.
Hutchinson again having a run at Laird, drops it in field. It's neatly worked by Ipswich on the periphery of the penalty area. Chaplin's curling effort. Roberts in the way behind for Ipswich's third corner of the game. Their onslaught continues.
Again, Connor Chaplin, danger man that you have to be careful of and wary of in that area of the pitch, and got it on his favoured left foot, just looking to get his shot away and bend it in, but Mark Roberts there sees it and provides an excellent block.
So Ipswich have already caused the threat from these set pieces. Davis with the delivery, this time Ruddy commanding his penalty area and claiming amongst a sea of bodies, and he can set Roberts on his way. Miyoshi right, Stansfield left. Roberts chooses Miyoshi, but the intervention halted Blues in their tracks, and Ipswich pick up possession again.
The opportunity there is for the counter-attack, and see Roberts, the one with the ball at his feet, Tyler Roberts, and I think it's that detail of the final pass that just let him down slightly, because you had Stansfield playing on the top line, ready to receive the ball in behind, and obviously didn't make it to him, but they're the details that count if you're going to cause problems for Ipswich.
Well, Blues have only lost one of their last 7 encounters with Ipswich Town, but their resilience certainly being tested in the opening 25 minutes. John Ruddy forced into a splendid save from a free Connor Chaplin header, and Kiefer Moore, who's had a few half chances in front of goal, proving a real handful as he flicks on to Chaplin. Chaplin repeats the feat into Hutchinson, but he's well marshalled by Ethan Laird. Back to John Ruddy. Blues at the moment don't really have an out ball as Roberts seeks James. This time Blues can retain possession. Paik in the middle. Sanderson, his return to the side. Square it goes to Roberts.
I think it's important now that we do have a spell on the ball, because it feels like we've gone large period of the 24 minutes that we've had without it. So, it can be physically draining when you don't have the ball. So, can you make Ipswich work with it? Can you just keep shifting them around, keep trying to pull their structure around and find your openings?
And this could be a great contest as the game develops. James up against Axel Twanzebe at right back as well. Such athleticism. Great turn of pace on him for a tall right back as well. Axel Twanzebe, of course, Champions League experience with Manchester United, loans to Aston Villa.
That's where I think, Jordan James, he's a clever footballer, and he won't be able to outpace Twanzebe there, but he's clever to find certain positions and real good at linking up with others.
Drame's teasing ball towards the back stick. James was arriving, but too overcooked for James to get anything on it. But Blues certainly showing an interest after absorbing a lot of Ipswich pressure.
Yeah, it's probably been our best spell, hasn't it? On the 25-minute mark here, and yeah, good to see Drame getting forward, looking to deliver into a danger area, but fortunately just out of reach for Jordan James at the back post.
James has won it back high up the pitch. Morsey's intervention, but Paik will pick up. There's Luongo to tidy up for Ipswich Town. Blues just carving their way into proceedings after absorbing early Ipswich pressure and getting away with a few chances for Kiefer Moore. Portman Road faithful want Laird to get on with this. Hops for Stansfield, Twanzebe in the way. Paik battling with Chaplin. Emerges for Dazelle. Paik, Roberts, neat pocket of space, and there's James, looks to pull it back to the edge of the 18-yard box. Paik will pick up. Paik's delivery, teasing into the penalty area. Wolfenden was away to sweep to safety, and Twanzebe completes the clearance. Blues' best spell of the game so far.
Yeah, it was a teasing ball in, wasn't it, by Paik, that one. I actually think it caught the Ipswich defence by surprise, really. It was that one that looked like it was going to be edging behind them slightly, that danger zone in between the goalkeeper and back four, but you know, they kind of panicked the clearance and just flipped it out for a Blues throw-in. But real good spell by Blues now. You can see it's really give us a lift.
James into the air, Wolfenden in the way again. Paik tees up Jordan James, but Welshman in offside position, and that brings an end to Blues onslaught. It's the Tractor Boys penalty area, 0-0.
It's better though, isn't it, what you can see? I mean, we've really settled on the ball now, and as I say, I said in the early stages of the game, I'd like to see us sustain a bit more pressure in and around Ipswich's box, and you know, for the last few minutes we have actually done that. So, you know, rather than everybody behind the ball having to defend your box for large periods, we're now starting to grow into the game and find our feet.
Roberts bravely in on Broadhead. It will break for Dazelle. Dazelle and Paik, who have emerged as quite the duo in Blues' centre of the park, really keep things ticking over, really neat and tidy, with plenty of flair and skill when required as well. Paik draws the foul from Luongo, and you can just feel the tide turning after that good spell from Blues.
You can, and I think you alluded to the two players there, Dazelle and Paik, that you know they're your two kind of central midfielders in the core of that area of the pitch that can really get things ticking for us in terms of building possession, and you know they're technically able. You can see that, the both of them, and you know there's no surprise at the fact we've had more possession in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so is the fact that the ball's been going through them more often than not, and even there, look, you can see Paik sets off the next attack.
And Stansfield looking to get the better of Davis. Davis makes the challenge, and Stansfield just a bit too overzealous on Luongo as he looked to wrestle back possession. But immediately there, Paints, you see that Paik and Dazelle really the nucleus of this team going forward. Yeah, they are, yeah, and as I say, they're key to building and kind of progressing with the ball. I mean, you've got your clever players like Miyoshi, Stansfield, even Jordan James and Roberts slightly higher up the pitch, but your deeper players that should be getting it off the back four and linking the two, defence to attack, would be Dazelle and Paik. You know, something that, of course, Tony Mowbray clearly identified as soon as he came into that transfer window. He's signed 3 midfielders on loan, and 2 of them now developing that brilliant duo in the midfield. Broadhead, Hutchinson looking to waltz onto that left foot. Strike towards goal, deflected and in. Blues are looking for a flag. It hasn't come, and Connor Chaplin picks up his 11th of the season. And after yesterday's titanic clash at the top of the table, Ipswich needed a response today. It's taken them half an hour. It's not neat and tidy, but they won't care. Connor Chaplin, rather fortuitous with the deflection, but Ipswich Town have the lead.
Oh, it's a real shame. I mean, you could actually say that we've had our best spell in the game up to this point, and the next time Ipswich go up there, it's Morsey, isn't it, that strikes it, and he strikes it into the 18-yard box. I think it's a shot. I wouldn't say he's looking to pick Connor Chaplin out there, and yeah, you see the Blues back four with their hands up in the air, kind of desperate for that linesman to put his flag up, but it's not given, and it makes you wonder, just looking at the replay, whether it's Drame that's slightly deeper than the rest of his other 3 teammates in that back line. Clearly somebody was a little bit deeper than the rest. That's why Connor Chaplin was able to finish that off, and the goal stands.
Well, it's so unfortunate for Blues. They've repelled wave after wave of Ipswich Town attack in the early exchanges, really clawed themselves into proceedings. But it's a scrappy goal that proves to be the difference between the two sides after half an hour. As Paint said, Sam Morsey's scuff shot deflected off Connor Chaplin. Not sure how much the number 10 knew about it, but he helps himself to his 11th goal of the campaign. And it's one that could be vital in the race for promotion in the Championship. Ipswich Town lead by a goal to 0. And now Broadhead seeking out a second. He's got Hutchinson up with him. Broadhead will feed Amari Hutchinson. Blue shirts racing forward in support into the penalty area. Van Zaby, who sportingly put the ball out of play.
I think the frustrating thing about that Ipswich goal there is, we were starting to look better in possession and started to look more of a threat at that point in the game. And the disappointing thing about it is that Morsey's strike isn't exactly the cleanest. It's not like they've actually cut us open with real good play, and some would probably be questioning whether he's actually miskicked it, Morsey, with that strike, and it just lands to the feet of Connor Chaplin, and he made no mistake there. But I think you are taking a risk when you're relying on the linesman to give offsides. I mean, you can't really be relying on that inside your 18-yard box. If he doesn't give it, and that's the problem with it, is that the goal stands, and whether you think it's offside or not, that's find yourself 1-0 down.
When you have the type of season that Ipswich are having, everything you're touching turning into gold, you get those sorts of breaks as well in football.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, they clearly got the rub of the green there, didn't they, with Morsey's strike, and it landed to the feet of Connor Chaplin. But you wouldn't like to see our heads drop now at this stage. I mean, it's early stages, isn't it? And okay, Ipswich have probably had more half chances than we've had. But I'd like to think that the way we were going up just before the Ipswich goal, that we were growing into the game and we were looking more confident on the ball. And in turn with that, once you start looking after the ball, then you can build and you can start becoming more of a threat up the opposite end.
So Blues find themselves behind on the road. Once again, this one's so unfortunate. And the manner in which it found its way, trickled past John Ruddy as he committed one side. Chaplin diverted the course, and it just agonisingly rolled over the line. If Blues want to add to their 11-point tally on the road, they're going to have to do it the hard way now and come from behind at a place in Portman Road where Ipswich Town are seldom breached, as Broadhead springs Ipswich into action again, surging forward, offloads to Hutchinson, dancing onto that left foot. Van Zaby will pick up the pieces. Hutchinson, left-footed balls, a teasing one. Robert smartly leaves it for John Ruddy. Miyoshi, the outlet. Stansfield and made the burst. Burgess back there to screen.
Stansfield was looking for that one to actually go into the space in behind, and Miyoshi didn't quite read what Stansfield wanted there, and he tried to play that one kind of to his feet, but it got read there by Ipswich.
Laird unorthodox, but he's found Jordan James, and James has won the free kick, much to the despair of Kieran McKenna right in front of him.
Jordan James there was looking, if he could, to just get the ball down and play quickly. Obviously, you've still got Stansfield on the top line there. Real problem with his pace, but clever by Ipswich, really. I mean, you are told when you give any free kicks away in certain areas of the pitch, just stand on the ball, just stop the opposition from breaking on you quickly.
Longo. Davis barrelling forward from fullback, and now Broadhead. Longo into the sunshine. Davis back to Burgess.
Again, well played, Mark Roberts. I say that those balls that are stood up into the box with such a figure of Kiefer Moore are hard to defend against. They really are. And what he's done there, Roberts, he's used his body well just to make it difficult for Kiefer Moore to get any momentum or get a run on him. And just giving him that nudge sometimes can be enough to kind of kill the momentum, and obviously making it difficult there. So I think you have to credit Mark Roberts. He's dealt with that. I think there's two moments in the game that we've seen where the ball has been delivered to the figure point of Kiefer Moore, and Mark Roberts has been the one that has dealt with that well.
He's been a real servant for Blues, Mark Roberts, over the past few years. Conversation to be had in the summer when his contract's up, but at the moment he's dealing with Kiefer Moore splendidly well. Davis in swinger this time. John Ruddy, firm hands, despite Twanzebi's efforts.
Yeah, good take by John Ruddy there. He could probably see out the corner of his eye that Twanzebi was approaching, but stood his ground. Real confident collection of the ball there from the corner.
Here's Dazelle.
Quite like that. That was, good patient build-up, just going one side of the pitch to the other, and eventually you'll find your outlet. And at that time, it was Ethan Laird, and if you can get him on the ball with time and space, being able to drive up the pitch would be ideal, wouldn't it? But I think there's actually been good signs in this first half. As I keep saying it, I think as the half's grown on, we've looked more confident with the ball at our feet.
Moore picks up for Ipswich. Burgess. Wolfenden seeks Hutchinson down the right-hand side. It's Laird's header that falls straight to Chaplin. Hutchinson looking to get the better of Paik, just drags the South Korean back. Free kick Blues.
You can see Connor Chaplin not very happy about the decision there. He had his hands on his head at one point, but that's it. It was a clear free kick, wasn't it?
Sanderson to Laird, who does well to ride the challenge of Hutchinson. Laird in field, thought he was impeded, as does Mark Venus. The referee waves away those appeals. Led again by Morsey. He's getting plenty of attention from Sam Morsey as Ethan Laird, and this time he gets the decision. Free kick Blues.
You can see Ipswich just getting really tight to Laird there, and it was Morsey, wasn't it, that wasn't giving him an inch of space, and you can see why. He's the type of player that if you give Laird that area of the pitch to drive into with his athletic ability, he can really drive you up the pitch. So I'm sure Ipswich are well aware of that and making sure that they're stopping our fullbacks from bombing on.
Laird just about manages to sort his feet out in time. Sanderson, left-footed clearance, slice in the midfield by Luongo, but Twanzebe under no real pressure can bring the ball down and roll it inside to Wolfenden. Hladky, who looks to tease it inside that near post, and Hladky had to react well down to his left-hand side to turn behind for Blues' first corner of the game.
If that was Roberts' intention there, just to catch him off guard, I'd say it's really clever, and it does look like it, doesn't it? You know, I think if he was going to cross it, he'd be aiming more for the Stansfield's position and the 6-yard box, but I think he's actually tried to catch Ipswich goalkeeper out there. Nearly did as well.
Great thinking by Tyler Roberts, good improvisation. And a strong save by Hladky, but big chance from a corner kick for Blues. Pike, Dazelle, left-footed teasing ball. Hladky had to produce the punch away. Dazelle will pick up and roll it all the way back to John Ruddy. Swept to James. Stansfield lets it run for Laird. Intelligent play by Jay Stansfield. And the touch from Wolfenden will carry behind for the corner kick.
Yeah, good play down Blues' left-hand side there, and you know, you could see there was a slight overload, wasn't there, down the left-hand side there, and see Wolfenden, not his intention, but see gets contact on the ball and ends up going all the way out for a corner. You can see even on our last corner that the positioning and the setup of it is something that's clearly been worked on the training ground. It seemed like each player that received the ball knew where they were meant to be and where the ball was going to be delivered to. Obviously, you could see it was Hladky that just punched the last one out. Wasn't taking any risks looking to catch that.
Next corner kick's a decent one. It's dealt with back there by Ipswich. Really smart ball. What a ball that is to Pake. But he's offside.
The idea is right. You know, Pate there just probably strayed offside, but no, that's where the space was. You could see there was acres of it, and it was Pate that was just looking to get beyond there. And you know, it was an excellent first touch, albeit he was offside. But you know, I think Blues are still knocking on that door, aren't they? You know, this game makes you feel that it's nowhere near dead and buried at all, even though Ipswich have got the advantage.
The fourth official has indicated there'll be a minimum of 4 minutes additional time. 4 minutes additional time.
Ball picked up by Sanderson after a loose touch from Broadhead, and Miyoshi can spring Blues into action here. Miyoshi pulls it out. Jordan James! Blues back level.
There it is. You could see it, couldn't you? You could see it coming, and you know, not so long ago, I've just said Blues are knocking on the door. You could tell that the way we were playing, with the confidence we were playing with, there were certain moments that you know you're going to get an opportunity against an Ipswich side that actually do concede quite a few goals. Just as Miyoshi's breaking down the right-hand side there, looking at Jordan James's position, and you know, Miyoshi, he knows that Jordan James is holding the edge of the box, and all he's got to do is cut it back to him, which he did brilliantly. Jordan James gets across his defender, and what a strike that is. You know, to keep that on target is actually a hard technique. Makes it look really, really easy, but certainly not. Certainly not. I mean, what's that? His 8th goal of the season now from a midfielder. That's a great return. You know, he really is having a good season, Jordan James. Really important that your midfielders grab goals, and I think Blues deserve that, in all fairness.
Yeah, everything he's doing and touching is turning.
In certain positions there, and he's just chose to kind of delay his run and hold his position on the edge of the box. And then as soon as Miyoshi looks to unload there, he gets across his marker, if you like, and then just it's about making the contact and hitting the target, and strikes it brilliantly.
Well, Blues have produced signs in this first half and have done just about enough to repel most of what Ipswich have had to throw at them. And now they have something to grab onto right on the stroke of half-time. Brilliant work by Miyoshi as well in the build-up. And now Roberts. Blues might look to put their noses in front before heading into the half-time changing rooms. James. Dazelle. Ethan Laird. Final act of the first half will fall for Blues. Laird looks to dink it towards that back stick. It will drop for Pike. Drame. Miyoshi. Dazelle.
This is good. Keeping the ball in the final third. This was one of the points I was making earlier in the game. You know, can you really work Ipswich? You know, just shifting them about. Just wait for that key moment to break through them. Or wait for, player that's unmarked. You can see Ethan Laird there even, really advanced at this point.
Well, Roberts with a cross-come shot for the conclusion of what was a really well put together move, and what has turned into a brilliant half for Blues, going in level at Portman Road for a side who needed to respond after yesterday's antics. Road, and they did so
built by proper people, from the terraces to the streets. We're all Blues round here. We've seen some tough times, even some cup times, but nothing fazed the royal blue. We are the sound of the city.
Yo, you see me, I love Blues from a kid. Too proud when I sing due to Madrid. Won't see an X22 on a strip, and I had to retire that quick. Yeah, I was 10 years old, going kids for a quid. I thought Jeff Horsfield was sick. And even back then, I was stern like John, I had to calm mine for a new kick. Yeah, now it's cut corners when I spit, and the cut corners where I sit. I might cup a call for a buck for me, and my boys with a vibe in the same one bit. Now, mate, I wanna be in Davo's rig. Pull out your phone, take those pics. Same old story, the main culprits. The Birmingham crew don't take no. Shall be companies take over. Can't lie, Blues in a makeover. And I can't wait till the break's over. See me in the roost and I ain't sober. Or in the real George when the game's over. Tell that girl and the mate's over. Yeah, win, lose or draw, you know the score. I keep right on till my day's over. Yeah, they know the score. You know this, the Birmingham crew with the blue noses. Away days more than a few coaches. And I can't fall off, yeah, I'm too focused. Yeah, they know the score. You know this, the Birmingham crew with the blue noses. Away days more than a few coaches. New kits out now, have you noticed?
Well, 1-1 at Portman Road, and it looked like it was going to be a frustrating half for Blues on the road once again, but on the stroke of half-time, Jordan James strikes his 8th goal this season, and Blues have an interest, and it's one that they fully deserve going in level at the break.
Yeah, they did. I mean, in all fairness, I thought it took us a bit of time to settle into the game. I think it was around 25 minutes that we started stringing some passes together and retaining the ball better, in which you'd want us to do, but, yeah, fully deserved the goal, and it's a really well-worked goal, wasn't it? Down the right-hand side with Miyoshi, and tremendous finish by Jordan James. Again, eighth goal for the season is such a good return from someone in that position of that age. So, no, I think it was fully deserved, and yeah, I think we can see that Ipswich are a threat when they go forwards. They've probably created the better of the chances and more chances than we have, but you have to credit the Blues players that we do look we were clinical, weren't we, with the main chance that we created, and we ended up putting it away. So, no, I think, Mark Venus will be pleased with the first half show, and I'm sure he'll be going through certain bits with the players now in which we can improve on and make us that bit stronger. But all in all, he'll be pleased with that. Yeah, and it was Ipswich who started off strong and created the majority of the chances early on. Kiefer Moore especially having a whole host of opportunities, and he proved to be a real handful in his early exchanges. Yeah, he did, and that was the dangerous ball into Kiefer Moore, and it was Mark Roberts that defended that really well. He didn't actually get contact on it, but just his slide was enough to put Kiefer Moore off. And Connor Chaplin as well was involved with everything that the Ipswich were building going forward. Again, Blues were looking for a flag that never came, but Kiefer Moore spurns the opportunity. Yeah, it's Connor Chaplin that finds those pockets really well, gets into the danger areas, and Kiefer Moore will have expected to do better with the chance that he had, and you'd probably expect him to fire it across goal, but just tried to catch John Ruddy out on the near post. And it's something we've seen from Kieran McKenna's sides. They love to overload the flanks and then work it into the penalty area. And I think that's why Kiefer Moore had so much joy. Yeah, well, they're well coached. You can see that. They have a clear identity and way of playing. And, that Kiefer Moore normally finds himself in and around that 18-yard box. You don't see him kind of veering into the wider areas too much. He's kind of like that focal point in there. But, they're clever and they look to pick him out as much as possible. A terrific save there from John Ruddy to keep the scores level at what was a vital point in the game. And Mark Roberts just seemed to be everywhere for Blues at the back. Yeah, well, going back to Connor Chaplin's chance there that John Ruddy saved. I mean, he did have a lot of time in the 18-yard box, but I suppose you could say it's well worked for Ipswich to give him that time and space. But John Ruddy stood up to the task, and we see the goal there. It was really frustrating actually, because it was the time in the game that we were actually moving the ball quite well, and probably our strongest period in the game. And then literally Ipswich go up the other end of the pitch. Morsey doesn't strike it particularly cleanly, lands to Connor Chaplin's feet, and then you've got a number of hands kind of appealing for offside, which wasn't given. There again, it's Kiefer Moore, isn't it, that's the target. Whenever the ball's in wide areas, it's Kiefer Moore that's looking to kind of pull onto the shoulder of one of the centre-backs. More often than not, it's been Mark Roberts that's dealt with it really well. And, looking at the Blues chance there, you've got Tyler Roberts that just tried to catch the Ipswich keeper out in the near post. But, the fantastic goal that we're watching now, I mean, we haven't exactly bombarded Ipswich with chance after chance, but one moment of magic, Miyoshi that can create things for you there, and he knows that Jordan James is on the edge of that box. It's kind of like that understanding of each other's roles, really, and just picks Jordan James out, that holds the edge of the box really well. I mean, you'd probably expect players just to flood the box, but he holds his run, waits for Miyoshi just to kind of cut that ball back to the edge of the 18-yard box, then makes that movement across his marker and strikes it really cleanly. And yeah, it was well deserved. Will that be the pattern of play that Mark Venus again is looking for that second period? Ipswich at home, they're going to dominate the ball, they're going to create chances, but when we have the ball, it's really important that we use it with value. Yeah, you have to. I mean, you can see, judging off the first half and even Ipswich's position in the league, that they're obviously a good side, and a side that are comfortable in retaining the ball themselves and look a real threat when they go forward. So, yeah, when we do have the ball, that makes it even more important for us to retain it and have spells with it, because, you can find when you're going for large periods away from home without the ball, you work really hard to try and get it back. So